American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words all come down like blues on Tuesdays.
Well, this is Joe and Amy from History for Jerks. We'd like to apologize. We'd like to take this moment to apologize about our erratic schedule of podcasts. They kind of come out here and there when we have time. Things are tough. There's a pandemic.
Yes.
There's crazy, weird crap trying to adjust to it. We're all over the place. So we're doing our best. We love you for hanging in there.
If you still are.
If you are. And if you're not, then you're not hearing this anyway. So fuck you. No, just kidding. We would never say that to anyone.
You love looking in the mirror.
Well, you put up, we have a new mirror in our podcast studio, and it's weird because seeing myself is weird. I didn't realize I was doing it till you said that. Anyway.
It's so funny.
It's not funny. It's hilarious. Anyway, thanks for listening. We just want to tell you this isn't going to be the most complete podcast you could hear about Charles Manson, but it's going to be the only one you hear from us idiots.
That's right.
So maybe it's half-assed, but you know what? You can hear about Charlie Manson anywhere. So this is just our take on the Manson family murders, right?
Yeah.
And so we left off last time. Oh, my name's Joe, and this is
Amy.
And we are History for Jerks.
This is American Timelines.
American Timelines, the podcast that brings you crazy shit.
Brings you closer to your loved ones.
In chronological order. And then we comment about it.
Okay. So we're in August.
And then Amy likes crime.
We're in August of 1969.
That's true. We left off in the end of July, and so we're picking up Wednesday, August 6th, 1969. A sonic boom from a U.S. Navy F-4J Phantom II jet aircraft shattered 3/4 of the windows in the downtown business district of the Canadian resort town of Kelowna, British Columbia.
Really?
Causing an estimated $150,000 worth of damage and injuring 6 people hurt by broken glass. The unusual incident happened when a member of the Navy's Blue Angels stunt flying team exceeded Mach 1 at an altitude of only 300 feet.
Oh, my God.
The pilot was accelerating to catch up with the other 3 members of his team during practice for an upcoming air show.
Jeez.
The cost of repairs, initially estimated at $250,000, was revised downward after 300 different claims were filed, and the U.S. Navy agreed to pay the costs on August 28th. And that brings us to Friday, August 8th, 1969, and I understand that that is the day that was the beginning of a long, crazy-ass tale that you're going to tell us.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to do my best.
Okay, do your best. That's all you can do.
Being a teacher at this moment is very difficult.
Yes.
And I have not had a lot of time
to work on this silly old podcast.
To this story. But I'm going to do my best.
And some of it you probably just know because you're a buff.
It is. But a lot of it is from SmithsonianMag.com.
Shout out.
And it's basically mostly from that. So
okay. You just read the magazine.
I'm just going to read you this.
I'm just going to regurgitate the magazine.
I am, pretty much.
Well, you know what, listeners?
And that's all right.
Guess what? You don't have to read it now.
That's right.
Yep. You don't have to read the Smithsonian magazine.
And there was a couple other things that I
should
snipped in between here and there. But
you should pay for a subscription. Just shout out to Smithsonian Magazine. Best magazine to pay for.
That's right.
We're a big fan. But you just won't have to read this issue.
Right.
This back issue. We'll just tell you what it says.
So, Charles Manson was born on November 12th, 1934.
Oh, November 12th, 1934. The same day that insert item here.
in Ohio. His mother, Kathleen Maddox, was a teen. Charles's biological father abandoned her and the baby before he was born.
No.
She married William Manson shortly before Charles was born, and then soon started calling her son Charles Mills Manson after
so
her new husband.
Manson is not his biological father's name.
Yes, and don't start yawning.
Sorry. He's Charles. So Charles Manson is not a Manson
Right.
from the beginning.
So he grew up with his mother's relatives in an allegedly neglectful and abusive environment.
That explains it.
By age
Well said.
13, he had begun committing various petty crimes, including robbery. And in 1949, he was detained at the Indiana Boys School, where he endured sexual assault and abuse.
That's never good for anyone.
No. Over a period of several escape attempts and transfers to numerous juvenile centers, he began committing violent sexual assaults on other boys and was ultimately transferred to the Ohio Federal Reformatory in 1952. And you can imagine what life was like at a reformatory for boys in 1952.
It probably was not fun.
No,
Unless you like being violently anally attacked.
that's right. When he was 19 years old in 1954,
Yeah.
he was released to his aunt and uncle in McMeshin, West Virginia. And for a brief time, he appeared to settle down, marrying and moving to Los Angeles.
Oh, all set. Nothing else will happen. That's great. We're all good.
Yep. But he continued to commit crimes. In 1957, he was sentenced to 3 years in a Los Angeles prison, during which his wife filed for divorce. The decades spanning 1957...
1957, his wife filed for divorce.
Yes.
I bet she's happy that she got out of
that.
that thing. That's the same year that Eisenhower Doctrine was.
So the decades spanning 1957 to 1967 were very turbulent for Manson.
Okay.
He spent a lot of it in a cycle of suspended sentences and probation violations and imprisonment.
Oh, I thought you were going to say suspended animation.
He was a pimp. He became a pimp. He was briefly married to a sex worker and began exploring ways to achieve Hollywood fame.
Wow.
He
okay.
took guitar lessons, though according to one producer who would later attempt to work with him, he was an unmitigated disaster.
Oh.
Paid careful attention to the Beatles, developed ambitions of becoming a singer-songwriter, and attempted to gain insider connections to film studios.
Wow. So he was a pimp. Out of all that, he was a pimp. Yeah. So I think this is the weirdest thing, that he's trying to be famous and become a Hollywood person and a rock star or whatever.
Meanwhile, he carefully studied religion as a tool of control and manipulation,
That's
especially
what it
Scientology,
Oh, gosh.
along with social engineering. He also sought the advice of other career criminals, including pimps who taught him techniques for successfully coercing and breaking down the resistance of women under his control. So then he migrated to Berkeley and then to San Francisco, cities that became flooded with young people looking to embark on a new way of life.
Okay.
An older figure among the crowd, he amassed a small group of followers who were almost all women. And in 1968, he headed along with several female followers to Los Angeles and pursue a music career, having learned to play the guitar in prison. Manson's tools of
Prison guitar. He only learns prison songs, though.
is right. His tools of persuasion were the lax social codes of the late 1960s, in which runaway hippies mingled freely with Hollywood royalty,
Well,
and his ability to tell others what they wanted to hear, both of which he parlayed into a friendship with Dennis Wilson, the drummer of the Beach Boys.
so they were friends. So he's friends with the drummer of the Beach Boys.
Yep.
Yikes. That's crazy.
So then through Wilson, Manson met other music industry players.
Wait, and this is Carney Wilson's dad, right?
Yeah.
So Carney Wilson's dad. So do you think when she was a kid, she called him Uncle Charlie?
Yeah.
That's weird. I had an Uncle Charlie,
so
and
then
my
he-
cousin saw his balls once
All right.
on accident.
So
He was just. It wasn't like an assault or an abusive situation. It was like moving boxes, and he was wearing shorts.
all right.
Nobody
Nobody cared. Nobody asked for this story.
What's your Uncle Charlie's
No.
scrotum
No.
sighting?
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
So then, through Wilson, he met other music industry players and grew increasingly fixated on stardom,
Okay.
all the while exercising greater and greater control over the group that came to be known as the Manson family.
Okay.
He was, an investigative journalist Jeff Gwynne put it in Manson, The Life and Times of Charles Manson, the wrong man in the right place at the right time.
Okay. So that's another reference, I guess.
After the family members after the family members behind the August 1969 murders were apprehended,
Yeah.
Manson was put on trial for murder along with them.
So the family members aren't real family members. It's
No.
just people. It's like a hippie commune
Yes,
kind of thing.
that's right. And the thing is, Manson didn't do any of the actual killing.
Oh.
But the prosecutor, Vincent Bugliosi, argued that the family did everything Manson ordered them to do, including murder.
Vincent Buglioso, y'all.
One of California's longest-standing prison inmates, Manson died in November 2017. So in the public's imagination...
The end.
Yep. The Manson girls, as they came to be known, loomed almost as large as Manson himself.
Really? Just girls that are part of the hippie
The Manson family.
thing?
Mostly young women in their late teens and early 20s, Manson family members were, in the late 1960s, not especially unusual. White middle-class women all over the country were headed for the cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles, inspired by other hippies to tune in, turn on, and drop out.
Tune in, turn on, and drop out.
Manson used his female followers to lure other men to both join the group and to support it. It was several of the women that initially met Dennis Wilson and brought Manson to his home.
Man, imagine this. You're a Beach Boys drummer. You're kicking ass. Someday you're going to have a child named Carney Wilson, and you're just at the top of life. Your band rules. You're making money. You meet this hot chick, and then she's like, oh, yeah, by the way, join this cult and this crazy murder guy.
So Manson and the family bounced around Los Angeles, eventually settling at Spahn Ranch, an old film and television set in the western San Fernando Valley.
Spawn? Mm-hmm. Spawn Ranch?
At Spahn, Manson exercised total domination over the group. Members were reportedly forbidden from wearing eyeglasses or carrying money.
That's difficult to see
Yeah.
when you have a prescription
Vision
and
problems.
you can't wear them.
And
I guess contact lenses.
in the book, Member
invented
of
yet?
the Family, My Story of Charles Manson, Life Inside His Cult in the Darkness That Ended the 60s.
Yeah.
Manson follower Diane Lake, who was just 14 when she met Manson,
Oh.
detailed long nights of lectures in which Manson instructed others at the ranch to take LSD and listen to him preach about the past, present, and future of humanity.
Probably boring ass lectures if you're 14. But
So-
leave the children out of this.
Some of the family remained loyal to Manson even after he was sentenced to death, which was
Really?
later converted to life in prison when the state of California overturned the death penalty.
Yeah.
In 1975, one of Manson's earliest followers, Lynette Squeaky Frome, attempted
Squeaky
to
Frome.
assassinate President Gerald Ford, but her gun jammed and she was quickly felled by social.
That's right. We
Secret
talked about
Service.
her in
That's right.
one of our 1975 episodes.
Manson had connections to a number of wealthy and influential people in Los Angeles.
Okay, like
Like Dennis Wilson.
Oh, Dennis Wilson.
So-
He's wealthy.
Throughout 1968, Wilson allowed Manson and the family to live in his house on Sunset Boulevard.
Really?
And lent Manson hundreds of thousands of dollars to help him record an album in
What?
exchange for sexual gratification from Manson's female followers.
Oh, man, that's gross.
Wilson's manager finally evicted the family in August of 1968.
Wow. He said, get the hell out of here. This
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. And Carney Wilson's going to be born someday.
So through Dennis Wilson, Manson became acquainted with record producer Terry Melcher, who was the son of actress Doris Day and
Oh.
boyfriend of model and actress Candace Bergen.
Name drop city.
At one point, the daughter of actress Angela Lansbury was a family hanger-on.
With the daughter of Angela Lansbury?
Yep. And though she wasn't an official member, she used her mother's credit cards to buy the family's food and clothing.
Wait. You said Candace Bergen, whose dad was a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
We talked about that. And then Angela Lansbury from Murder, She Wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Angela Lansbury was actually best friends with B. Arthur. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, I don't know.
Boom, dropping the knowledge. So B. Arthur, so the Golden Girls are kind of
Mm-hmm.
associated with Charlie Manson here.
Melcher and Bergen lived at the house at 10050 Cielo Drive that Tate would eventually rent with her husband, director Roman Polanski. And Gwynn posits that the house represented Manson's rejection by the musical establishment because he had courted Melcher as a patron and even hosted the producer at Spahn Ranch, where Melcher politely listened to Manson and the family perform.
Huh.
Manson
Yeah.
pinned a great deal of hope in his connection with Wilson and Melcher, and it's widely believed that once it became clear the two men weren't going to significantly advance his music career, though Wilson did convince the Beach Boys to rework and record a version of Manson's song Cease to Exist, which they renamed Never Learn Not to Love.
So I wonder if you can download that on
It
Spotify.
can't. Yeah,
You can?
It was considered a flop, but
Did you like it? Are you a big
No.
fan? Is that what you listen to? I would imagine true crime fans like you
It
just
sounds
listen
like
to
your
that on
typical
repeat.
60s songs.
Okay.
You can hear Charles Manson singing.
In that song?
No, in different songs.
Like he's got albums out
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah. I mean,
Do you
his
like,
recordings.
do you listen to them?
No.
You put yourself to sleep every night with Charlie Manson songs?
So, no. So Manson became increasingly focused on violence during
Okay.
this time. So
Less on the sex, more on the violence?
So he started kind of threatening Melcher and Wilson. And those...
Just threatening him out of nowhere?
yeah, because they were starting to blow him off. And
Oh, and he's
so
getting mad about that.
And he didn't have a lot of talent. And he had a real violent temper. And he racist. And he would rant about an upcoming race war and all this stuff.
Crazy shit.
That all contributed to Melcher finally shying away from helping Manson with his musical
But he still had
career.
all these people, these flunkies under him, right? That
Yeah.
were listening to him?
Yeah.
What do you think it is? Is it the drugs or just the situation those people are in? Like,
I think it's all the above.
what makes people follow somebody like that? Like David Koresh or any of these
Mm-hmm.
crazies? Like,
So,
I don't know. I don't get it.
according to Beach Boys member Mike Love, it was Melcher's mom, Doris Day, who became alarmed at the friendship developing between Manson and her son and convinced Melcher and Bergen to move out of the Cielo Drive house in January 1969.
Oh, so Doris Day saved the day.
That's right.
Boom.
In-
Burn.
In June, Melcher finally told Manson that he wouldn't be signing him to a record deal. So by the summer of 1969, it was clear that Manson's dream of Hollywood stardom were over.
Dream is over.
So
Little known fact, that's probably what that John Lennon song, The Dream is Over. is
Yeah.
about.
On the one hand, he's trying to be this star,
Yeah.
you know, like the next Jim Morrison type.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, he's preaching.
Wait, did Jim Morrison have a cult following and
No,
stuff?
he
Okay.
wanted to be
Rape people?
a rock star.
Oh, he just wanted to be like Jim Morrison.
Yeah. And on the other hand, he had this whole thing about Helter Skelter that he would preach to the family. And it was...
Now, when you say Helter Skelter, you're not talking about the Beatles song.
Yes, it was.
It was
So-
about the song.
So he thought the White Album was a prophecy.
Okay.
And the song Helter Skelter, he thought referenced a race war that was going to happen.
Oh.
And in the race war, all the black people would rise up and kill all the white people. But he and his family would burrow down and live under the ground until the race war was over
Yeah.
and all the white people were dead. And then the family would come out and would rule all the black people because black people can't rule themselves. And this is what Manson was saying.
Oh, so all the white people are gone, and then the black people will want their leadership
Yes.
type of thing?
Yes. That's what he said.
What the
Because he was a
hell?
staunch racist.
Yeah. And, it's
He
surprised
was
that
a
he's racist with such a great upbringing.
He was a lifelong white supremacist who had known associations to the Aryan Brotherhood. An article from 1976 noted that he seemed to fixate his fear and anxieties on black Muslims.
Huh.
And they also that he was repeatedly like a forerunner of the modern alt-right movement. His ideas about
Yikes.
Helter Skelter weren't just generalized drug-fueled mayhem and violence. It was a specific allusion to a race war that Manson believed black Americans, whom he viewed as violent savages, were going to start and then win. As his warped vision went, while the race war was raging... Oh, I already told you about this. So,
these people...
let's talk for a minute about the victims.
Okay, I was just going to say, like, that'll make you wonder, like... So Charlie Manson was obviously a nutcase, crazy piece of shit. And everybody acknowledges that pretty much. So, like, these people that still follow the, like, racist ideology and the white supremacy and all that, like, why doesn't the switch go off in their heads like, oh, yeah.
This is what
This-
Charlie Manson liked.
And Hitler, these lunatics,
Yeah.
love this. Like, they don't see that. They don't see that, oh, maybe this is wrong and I should do the opposite and
Yes.
follow the opposite.
Yeah,
Or are they just fucking nuts too? Like, are they...
I think they were.
I guess you got to have something wrong with you to be a white supremacist. Like, there's got to be...
It's systemic. It's our whole society.
It's-
We're raised
yeah.
from birth to ignore the fact of white supremacy,
Yeah.
and we're taught. And it took me 47 years to see it.
Well, I know. Well, you were in the Klan, and I got you out of it.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, but I know it's a systemic thing, but it's like, I feel like it takes some intelligence, or like, it doesn't take much intelligence to just be like, duh, it's
don't
fucking
know.
dumb.
All right, let me get back to the story.
All right, back to the story.
So, Manson also wanted. Hold on. Sorry.
You were going to get into the victims, you said. Let's talk a
okay.
minute about the victims.
So some people said that Manson committed that the Manson murders happened because he wanted to start the race war, that it wasn't happening fast enough. So he was going to try to pin it on the Black Panthers.
And then he was planned on going underground and letting everybody die.
Yeah. But he was also trying to distract police from other crimes that he had committed. So in May 1969, he had non-fatally shot a drug dealer named Bernard Lotzapapa Crow after a dispute over a drug payment.
Lots of papa.
Yep. 2 months later, he had urged several of his followers to steal money from a friend of his named Gary Hinman. After 2 days of holding Hinman hostage, during which Manson cut Hinman's ear, Manson follower Bobby Bugliosi killed Hinman.
So that's not that fast.
Yep. 1968 was also the year that Bugliosi and his friend and ex-roommate Gary Hinman met Manson. Bugliosi later participated in the 3-day torture and attempted extortion of Hinman, and then killed him, all on Manson's orders.
Huh.
At his 1970 trial, Bugliosi claimed that Manson was the one who actually killed Hinman, though he later changed the story. Bugliosi received a death sentence, which was automatically commuted to life in 1972. So the family members attempted to blame Hinman's death on the Black Panthers by writing "political piggy" and a Black Panther symbol in blood on the wall.
Huh.
But Bugliosi was arrested for the murder and then taken into custody on August 6th, though that didn't work.
It didn't work, and that's what they were talking about, August 6th.
No, we're talking about August 8th. Manson now feared
Sorry.
that Bugliosi would crack under pressure while being interrogated and implicate Manson in the murder of Hinman and the previous shooting of Crow.
Okay.
2 other Manson family members, Mary Bruner and Sandra Good, were also arrested at the same time for using a stolen credit card. Their bail was only $600, but their arrest, combined with Bugliosi's, was enough to send Manson into a rage spiral.
All right.
So just 2 days after Bugliosi was taken into custody on August 8th, 1969.
Oh, the same day that the Beatles had their iconic photograph taken of their crossing of London's Abbey Road as the cover to the record album of the same name.
Yep.
That same day, it was a zebra crossing.
That's right.
Did you know what that was?
Yep. Manson ordered his right-hand man, Charles Tex Watson, to take 3 members of the family to the Cielo Drive address, that one that Terry Melcher used to live at.
Yeah.
Multiple Manson family members generally claimed that Manson himself never came up with the idea of murdering rich Hollywood piggies, as he called them. This idea originated from group conversations while Manson wasn't even there. But during Manson's trial, Watson claimed Manson told him to go to Melcher's former house on Cielo Drive and totally destroy the current inhabitants. Manson's goal was to have his followers kill everyone at the house and make the killings look like the Hinman killing in order to divert police suspicion from the captive Bugliosi.
Yeah, well, they won't think it's him. Oh.
On the night of August 8th, Manson family members Tex Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, Susan Atkins, and Linda Kasabian, who would later turn state's witness against the others, drove to Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski's home. He was out of town working on a film. The 8 months pregnant Tate, who appeared in 1967's Valley of the Dolls and was considered one of Hollywood's most prominent up-and-comers, was relaxing at home with her friends, celebrity hairstylist Jay Sebring, coffee heiress Abigail Folger, and Folger's boyfriend Wojtek Frykowski.
I love Folgers coffee. Folgers crystals.
None of them had any tangible connection to Manson or the family other than being physically in the house previously occupied by someone Manson knew.
Nuts.
As Bugliosi had done after the killing Hinman, they wrote "pig" on the door in blood in an attempt to tie the killings to the Hinman's murder and implicate the Black Panthers.
So do you think, does Manson know who lives there? He doesn't care. He doesn't know
care.
it's Sharon Tate.
He didn't care. In Helter Skelter, Vincent Bugliosi, the lawyer, wrote that a witness for the prosecution described a March 1969 day on which Manson came to the house looking for Melcher and found Tate on the porch instead. There could be no question that Charles Manson saw Sharon Tate and she him. So they do think he knew.
He knew her and knew she lived there, or at least knew.
So Tate and her friends all died at the hands of Watson, Krenwinkel, and Atkins, as did Stephen Parent, a teenage friend of the house's caretaker who happened to be pulling out of the driveway as the killers arrived.
Oh, boy.
The very next night, the same group of family members, plus Leslie Van Houten and Manson himself, set out to commit more murders. They drove to the house of grocery business executive Lino LaBianca and his wife, Rosemary, in the Los Feliz area of Los Angeles. LaBianca was totally unknown to the Manson family. Some of its members had reportedly been into a party in the neighborhood.
No.
According to Bugliosi, the LaBiancas were chosen at random after several hours of driving around upscale Los Angeles neighborhoods.
Wow.
These days, the Tate LaBianca murders are always mentioned as connected, but at the time they occurred, LA police shrugged off the idea of a link between the crimes, despite the identical messages scrawled on the walls in blood. Although police raided the Manson family at Spahn Ranch shortly after the murders, it was on suspicion of car theft. The family was quickly released, and Manson relocated to Barker Ranch at Death Valley. Before they left Spahn Ranch, however, Manson ordered yet another killing, the August 26th murder of Donald Shea, a ranch hand who Manson blamed for informing on him about the stolen cars to the police.
Wow.
So in October 1969, many members of the family, including Manson, were arrested. Again, not for the Tate or LaBianca murders, but for stealing RV equipment.
Huh. After all that, they got
Yep.
us on the RV equipment theft.
But yeah, by this time, the police who were investigating the LaBianca murders had finally connected the dots between the two murders
Okay.
and linked them back to the murder of Hinman and Manson's involvement in that.
Okay.
So on December 1st, police issued warrants for the 5 main participants in the Tate LaBianca killings: Manson, Watson, Atkins, Krenwinkel, and Van Houten.
December 1st, 1969, the same day that Magic Sam, stage name for Samuel Gene Maggett, 32, American blues musician, died of a heart attack that same day?
Yes. A sensationalized 1971 trial followed, characterized by disruptive outbursts from Manson and his supporters inside the courtroom and protests from Manson supporters outside.
Now, if you could go anywhere in the world at any time, you would probably go to this trial and watch it and sit in that courtroom.
Probably.
Wouldn't you? Knowing you.
Even an exploding courthouse bomb, which thankfully injured no one. Police never confirmed a link between the bomb and Manson, though it was placed directly beneath the courtroom during the trial.
Really?
So,
what?
Duh. Ultimately, Charles Manson was convicted on 7 counts of first-degree murder for the Tate LaBianca killings, later followed by 2 more convictions for the deaths of Hinman and Shea, the Spahn Ranch hand. Manson, Watkins, Atkins, Krenwinkel, and Van Houten were all sentenced to death, though their death penalties were commuted to life sentences the following year with the abolishment of the death penalty in California.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about that.
Though the public moved on after the trials, the scattered members of the Manson family did not. And throughout the early 70s, they continued to resort to violence and various levels of crime, from petty to dramatic. On August 21st, 1971, Manson family members Mary Bruner, Catherine Gypsy Scher, Dennis Rice, Charles Lovett, Larry Bailey, and Kenneth Como raided an Army surplus store in southwest L.A. The group frantically stockpiled weapons while holding customers and employees hostage, and then became embroiled in a shootout with police that resulted in Bruner and Scher being wounded. Authorities believed their ultimate plan was to hijack a plane in order to ransom the captives for the release of the imprisoned family members.
You mean that happened the same day?
Kind of past that, but...
No, we're not. Oh, the same day that Somerset was on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I don't even know what that is.
All right.
Oh, a spin-off of Another World.
Okay.
That same day?
So, you know what is weird, though?
What?
I was reading this, and it was talking about all the crimes that the family members did after he went to jail, and those ones went to jail. They were still... The other ones... There was one with the same last name of my parents.
What? Really? That died? Or that were...
That was one of the Manson family members.
Oh, I bet you were one of the descendants of them.
Yeah, maybe.
That makes sense. So, all this time, I thought Charlie Manson, was like a serial killer that murdered a whole bunch of people.
No.
But he really didn't do anything.
He didn't do a lot,
He's
no.
innocent, and they should have let him out.
No, I don't know about that.
He's crazy. Batshit crazy. You ever watch videos of him on YouTube?
Oh, I know.
He's fucking scary.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah, he was. Is he, though?
So the brutal nature of the murders committed by the Manson family, in addition to the fact that some of the victims were celebrities, touched upon some of the deepest fears of the American psyche.
Yeah.
The idea that you might not be safe at home, for one, and the idea that even good girls are a few moves away from committing unspeakable crimes.
Why do good girls
They also
like bad guys like Charlie Manson?
They also cemented the idea in popular culture that the free love movement of the 60s wasn't free at all.
Yeah. No, it cost your life.
Yep.
It cost your life.
So, let me see if this little bit. In the White Album, an essay appearing...
By the Beatles.
Wait a minute.
Not to be confused with the Weezer's White Album, because they have one now.
Oh, I don't know what that's even saying. Basically, the paranoia of the 60s that older Americans felt at the time was kind of realized or fulfilled when the Manson family murders occurred.
Right. I mean, because you always heard, oh, the 60s, the drugs, the music, it's going to put you in a cult. It's going to make you kill people. It's going to make you a batshit crazy guy that has followers.
And I know that wasn't very good. I didn't even really go into the gory details of the murders for you. But the whole
that's
thing...
actually a nice break
that's
for me.
preferable for you.
Yeah.
Because he, cut out the baby and stuff out of her stomach.
Oh, God. Thank you for sparing that, but then...
Bringing it up.
Fuck you for bringing it up now. No, I mean, we're a different spin on things. Like, you can hear all that gory stuff other places. We tell you what spin-off of Another World was on during his life. But I learned some things. I thought Charlie Manson was more of like a Zodiac killer type. Maybe he was the Zodiac killer. Oh, everything about that.
Can we take a break?
But we'll be right back after these messages.
Sports shows today are not enjoyable. They're over the top. Simply, they could do much better with capturing the audience. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, casual fan, or you're trying to get into the interest of sports altogether, this podcast, D&J Power Hour, will keep you up to date weekly with the latest stories so you get your knowledge. It's also entertaining, making you laugh out loud, and wanting more content on a day-to-day basis. Head to the website at www.djpowerhour.com where you can subscribe to any podcast platform of your choice and continue to enjoy us anywhere, anytime. Your experience matters to us the most. Enjoy.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Holly, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I am excited because we're going to start talking about the 80s.
Love the 80s.
I love the 80s too. I love everything about the 80s, but I love the music scene.
I think I love the music the most too.
If you love the 80s as much as we love the 80s, I think you'll get a kick out of rediscovering a lot of old music. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun.
Join us. Yeah. Join us and celebrate the 80s with us. Join us at What Difference Does It Make?
The podcast.
Okay, we're back, and let's finish up August. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Big thing that happened August 15th, 1969. Jimi Hendrix insisted on being the final performer at the Woodstock Music and Art Fair.
Whoa.
The Woodstock Music
Festival. I didn't realize he was the last one.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He insisted on it, and so he was scheduled to perform Sunday at midnight. Mm-hmm. But because I guess they were so delayed, he didn't take the stage until 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Whoa. And played for 2 hours to a dwindling audience.
Oh, man.
Like, so it was a several-day thing, so everybody was already kind of done.
Leaving.
At Woodstock, there were 3 recorded deaths, 0 recorded births, even though people said there were births.
And
4 miscarriages at Woodstock, apparently.
But there wasn't any violence.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, the people that died, 2 were from drug overdoses, and another who was just 17 years old was run over by a tractor collecting debris while he was asleep in a sleeping bag.
Oh my God!
People that died. There was no violence or anything.
No, and it was a huge festival.
Gigantic. Now they do think that zillions of were were maybe conceived at Woodstock. I think it's in the low zillions. There's a lot of sex there, but unfortunately, nobody was conceived during Sha Na Na's performance.
I wouldn't think. Yeah.
That's according to I stole that from heraldnet.com.
Oh, okay.
That said how many, it was a little joke. But a few other things. So I looked up some things that you might not know about Woodstock. It was in Bethel, New York. It was the first mega concert ever. August 15th to 18th. They claimed up to 1 million people came, but it's probably more likely half that number. But I'm going to go through some things about the thing that people might not know. They estimated about 400,000 people actually attended it. Grateful Dead, Jimi Hendrix closed out the show. Some of the people that played. Woodstock was number one. Woodstock was banned from its original site because of toilets.
Oh.
This is all according to mentalfloss.com. This is all according to mentalfloss.com.
Okay.
They were banned from the original site because of toilets. These three guys, Artie Kornfeld, Michael Lang, and Joel Rosenman. Oh, and John Roberts. I guess it was 4 people. John Roberts, the Supreme Court Justice. They were music industry vets, and no, not really a Supreme Court guy.
No.
And venture capitalists who provided the financial backing. They formed a company called Woodstock Ventures that they were looking at. They was named Woodstock because they were looking at building a recording studio in a town called Woodstock, and it was like an artist retreat 2 hours north of New York City. And the original site of the festival was supposed to be at Howard Mills Industrial Park in Wallkill, near Middletown, New York. After negotiations with landowners, the four believed they had found a solution, but Wallkill residents shot the idea down, fearing that an influx of visitors, possibly under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or both, would be problematic. And then they insisted that the concert's portable toilets weren't up to code and refused to grant a permit.
Okay.
So they banned it from happening. So Woodstock was then saved by a farmer. Do you know about this?
No.
So this farmer named Max Yazger, he owned a 600-acre dairy farm in Bethel, New York. That's a small town with just 2,366 residents. People still weren't very enthusiastic about him hosting this big thing, but he didn't care about that. He wasn't too worried.
Offered to host it.
He was a middle-aged, blue-collar, not a hippie at all, but he was a farmer. He was a hardworking farmer, but he respected the desire of concert goers to share in a communal experience and allow the so he allowed the organizers to use his property for a fee of $50,000.
Wow.
So for him,
I was like,
shit, I'll make some good money. And he even came out at one point to address the crowd, congratulating them on assembling and how great it was. And so you can see him. You look up his name, Max Yasker, Yasgur, on YouTube, and you can see him talking to the crowd. And it's just like this nice little old farmer guy. And Woodstock was not meant to be a free concert, but so many people showed up before they had the gates up and everything, and just camped and hung out even before they could even start it. They were already there, so they
couldn't probably charge after that.
Yeah, so the 1 day's admission was supposed to be $7. Attending all 3 days was supposed to be $18, but everybody was there so early that it ended up kind of being free.
I went to Lollapalooza.
You did?
Yeah. I saw, Fishbone, Primus, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Pearl Jam, I think.
That's pretty cool. That's a good lineup. I went to Coachella one time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Saw the Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I think a Tribe Called Quest. Pharrell was there before he was big.
Really?
He was in a group called the Neptunes, NERD. And gosh, I can't even remember who else I saw. But I was in the desert and I was like dehydrated or something. I was drinking and stuff. But anyway, they did run into a deficit because they let so many people in for free. But they eventually saw a modest profit after other income sources like the 1970 concert film Woodstock. Mm-hmm. Many cows were in attendance because it was on this dairy farm.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to like fence in an area to keep the cows in.
Yeah.
But so many people ran over the barrier and set up campgrounds that they just let the cows wander and mingle with
Oh,
attendees.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So the cows and the fans got along fine. There was no
That's
problem
pretty
with
funny.
that. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It had to stink though. I mean, I don't know what stunk worse, the cow pies or the hippies.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix, little known fact, got $18,000 to perform.
Oh, really?
That's all he made. Yep. But at the time, that was expensive. That's like $125,000, $130,000 now. Creedence Clearwater Revival was the first act booked, and they made $10,000. The Who received $6,250, although another report has them receiving $11,000, and so they probably didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
Joe Cocker only made $1,300.
Poor guy.
Sean Anna got $750.
And there was a shitload of those guys. So they probably
Sean
each
Anna,
made.
yeah, each made $10.
They each made $10. Yeah.
Yeah. Woodstock's musical acts needed to be helicoptered in. The traffic,
I
because the
guess so.
traffic was
Yeah.
so backed up in that tiny little town. Mm-hmm. That's a little thing people might not know. And the crowd, we already talked about this, but the crowd was very, very well behaved, and that I think surprised a lot of people.
Well, it was against what people were starting to hear about hippies.
Yeah.
Hippies were becoming very demonized at
Yeah,
this
they're
time.
supposed to be a terrible.
And people were starting to hear that they were stoned all the time and they didn't bathe and all that stuff. And
I bet Charlie Manson didn't help things.
no, and that
Like, he was a big
that
hippie
made
cult
it
thing,
like
yeah.
1,000 times worse. And so then when Woodstock happened, people were like, "Huh, that's weird. We thought they'd all be drug crazed and killing each other and stuff."
Yeah. Another little thing you might not know is even the ice had LSD in it.
Oh man,
The Who's John Entwistle told Billboard that he decided to drink a bourbon and Coke and realized that someone had spiked the ice with acid.
oh my god.
Yeah. The use of psychedelic drugs was estimated to have resulted in only 25 freakouts every hour the first night of the festival.
Every hour.
Yeah. But they said they had like staff ready to just like calm people down and sit with people because they knew people would freak out. You know, people always freak out.
Well, they
over
had some guy
freakouts.
come out in the intercom and say something like, "You guys, the purple acid is bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Don't take the purple acid."
Yeah. That's actually right. Yeah, I think that was something I was going to mention too, that because the Who, I think that the Who was, their set was crashed by Abby Hoffman. He rushed on stage to protest the imprisonment of the White Panther Party leader John Sinclair, and Pete Townsend swung at Hoffman with his guitar and ushered him off stage, I guess. But Pete Townsend said later that he thought that performance and being interrupted and all that boosted sales of their album. But there were public service announcements between each act. And it was an era before cell phones, so to communicate with people and get messages out. But I think they said that a member of the production staff named Edward Chip Monk, that's actually his name,
Oh
Chip
my God.
Monk, he took to the microphone to deliver announcements, alerting the crowd to unattended children or to notify people where to find help. One time he was known to say, "Kenny Irwin, please go to the information booth for your insulin." Paul Andrews, Mike needs his pills and we'll meet you where he did yesterday. And you can hear, and there's a video too attached to this Mental Floss site where you can hear, they think it's Monk, they don't know, but warning the crowd about some potentially harmful brown acid making the
That's
rounds.
what it
That
was.
you probably heard,
Yeah.
yeah. And the original Woodstock site is now on the National Register of Historic Places. Uh-oh. Dog's coughing.
Dog's
Oh,
coughing.
Yep. And even the garbage had a message. People people were really good about cleaning up and cleaning after. That was the most amazing thing to me.
Yeah.
There was tons and tons of garbage, but they cleaned up and they put it away. And they made a big peace symbol with the garbage, I guess.
He's like, thanks. Thanks for spreading the garbage all over the ground in a peace symbol.
Yeah, people did it. And I think that covers most of
Woodstock.
the Woodstock Festival.
That's a good story.
Yeah. There's some other things about Joan Baez was there, and Arlo Guthrie. Oh, Sly and the Family Stone, Jefferson Airplane, and Donnie Wahlberg was born during that in Boston at the same time. And then August 18th, 1969, Long John Silver's, an American fast food restaurant chain specializing in seafood, opened its first store, making its debut in what town?
I don't fucking know.
Lexington, Kentucky. I thought you were Long John Silver's expert.
Nope. No.
I am rescinding your certificate for Long John Silver's expertness.
Okay.
Ed Norton was born, and Christian Slater on the same day, August 18th, 1969.
Stop with the birthdays, please.
You wish. And then on August 19th, 1969, I don't know if you know this, but Grace Slick of Jefferson Airplane was the very first person in history to say the F word on American TV.
Oh.
On the Dick Cavett show
What
during
she
the
say?
song We Can Be Together. You know that song?
Maybe if I heard it.
I never heard it. And I don't think it's a particularly good song, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you haven't heard it. But if you go to YouTube and look up Grace Slick, Dick Cavett, find in that song, the We Can Be Together, you'll see he had, it was like a whole hippie concert. It was just Dick Cavett just like having hippies play. It was like, I can't remember who else was playing on that, but there were some other bands. But Jefferson Airplane was good. I mean, they were great. They were rocking out. Oh, I think David Crosby was on stage with them playing and stuff. And there was, I can't remember now. I watched the video, but at the 5, just to let people know.
Because this was one of the best times in music, in my opinion. 69 is one of the best years ever.
Oh, it's
in music.
amazing. Yeah, so
like
you can,
everything
and
was
that's
good.
the thing. Like it seems like all the Dick Cavett shows are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I like watching the interviews and stuff with people. Like just it's crazy how similar it is to today and what's happening, and you see all these historic people. I think he did like a 2-hour interview with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Dick Cavett did. I think like there's a lot. Dick Cavett was great at interviewing people. Anyway, look up Dick Cavett, Grace Slick, Jefferson Airplane, We Can Be Together, or first F word, whatever you want to say. If you go to the 5:25 mark in the song, that's how long they were playing.
Yeah.
She says, "Up against the wall, motherfucker," is one of the lines that she says. She says right there, and it's not super clear, but it's pretty clear, I think, for 1969.
Was it, now did they censor it out or was it live?
No, it's live.
Oh, wow.
And they don't have. Yeah, they don't. I don't think they.
Yeah,
that
sure they
then.
did. Sure, they pre-recorded shows.
No,
of course
not
they did.
those shows. Not like talk shows. I don't think.
Oh, I bet they did sometimes.
And I don't think, because didn't we say that film was like so expensive then? Like, maybe they did. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm a stupid idiot.
Me too. So whatever.
With a dumb face.
Nobody cares. Is the big thing.
They do care. There's people that care.
No, let's move on.
Tweet us at History for Jerks if you care.
we gotta wrap it up.
Wednesday, August 20th, 1969, the Beatles recorded one final song as a group, assembling in the Apple Studios to complete the last necessary production for their album Abbey Road. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr finished the overdubs for I Want You, subtitled She's So Heavy.
Oh, yeah.
2 days later, they met at Lennon's estate for a final photo session. And on January 3rd, McCartney, Harrison, and Starr would gather in the studio without Lennon to finish I Me Mine for the Let It Be album, which had largely been completed before Abbey Road. And that's, I'm sad about how it ended with the Beatles. And then
It's just so bitter. Like, it seemed like there was hard feelings or something.
well, there was definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to that John Lennon. I was listening to that John Lennon song. That's How Do You Sleep? It's supposed to be to Paul, like
Yeah.
he like blames Paul for breaking him up, but then everybody else blames Yoko, and
Yeah.
it's hard. It's got to be hard to be a super group like that.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know if they ever. I can't remember if we covered that when John Lennon died in 1980. If they reconciled. I think they did. I thought they said they did.
I don't know.
And then August 23rd, 1969, the Rolling Stones take over the number one spot on the Billboard charts with Honky Tonk Women. Mm-hmm. You know how that one goes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are you going to sing a few bars for us? Or
No. She's a honky
there we go.
tonk woman. Tap, 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 dog.
Give me.
Give me the honky tonk blues.
Blues. There we go. That's a great song. Stop tip-tapping. It's not a tap dance show.
It is, maybe.
Our dog is tap dancing.
She's not coughing. She's tap dancing.
Yeah.
Stella's been kind of a big part of this podcast today.
Yeah. She's coughing. She's tap dancing. On August 29th, 1969, the poverty line, now in use by the U.S. government, was first announced. Although the amount would be adjusted for inflation to reflect changes in the consumer price index, the definition of the poverty level would remain unchanged for the next 50 years.
Wow.
It was like something like $700
It was
a year
ridiculous.
or something.
Yeah.
It still is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like $20,000 a year.
For a family of four.
For a family of four. Yeah. It's
like,
ridiculous.
Yeah, if you make under that, then you're... But other than that, you're fine.
Right.
You can perfectly live...
$21,000 a year for a family of four, and you're good.
What can you eat? Like, what
I know.
could you even... That's if you grow your own crops.
I don't know what you would do. You would starve and...
You couldn't live anywhere
You
nice.
you couldn't own a house.
You couldn't have a television or cable or
cell phone.
Netflix or a phone. You could just live in a box.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just sleep in a box. All four of your family members. You don't need all that stuff.
It's ridiculous.
August 31st, 1969 was a Sunday. Rocky Marciano, the only undefeated world heavyweight boxing champion in history, was killed in the crash of a Cessna 172 airplane that was taking him from Chicago to Des Moines, along with pilot Glenn Bells and another passenger.
You know what is really sad?
What?
I didn't realize he was a real person.
Wait a minute. What? Wait. Are you... I don't want you to feel it dumber than you are. You know I'm not talking about Rocky Balboa, right?
Oh, no. Who's Rocky Marciano?
He's the only undefeated world heavyweight boxing champion in history.
Well, they're both boxers.
Right. And Rocky Balboa is kind of inspired, I think, by Rocky Marciano, but it's not.
Well, that's not that far out.
It's not that far out. But I did realize when you said that you were talking about Rocky and Apollo Creed and all that. So, yeah. I think he was inspired by that.
All right.
So, not that dumb. But I don't think it's exactly.
Sports person.
So, are you saying that, like, just now, you were thinking that was a biography movie, Rocky?
Maybe. It might have been.
Adrian. It was well written, and Sly Stallone wrote it on a napkin, I guess, with his dick.
No.
Yeah, he dipped his dick in ink,
No.
and then he wrote on a giant napkin or something like that.
Let's move on.
Anyway, Rocky Marciano died along with an insurance salesman and family friend, Frank Farrell. Flying at night, the Cessna ran out of fuel as it approached Des Moines. Mm-hmm. And Bells attempted an emergency landing in Newton, Iowa, and struck the ground 2 miles short of the runway at 9:05 in the evening. Marciano, born Rocco Francis Marchegiano, had a pro boxing record of 49 wins and 0 losses upon his retirement in 1956 after almost 4 years as champion. His death came on the eve of his 46th birthday. They were flying there for a birthday party. Yep. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
No, that's it for August. Yeah, that's all I got. I hate to end it on a bad note.
Well,
but I'm glad that you
what?
You thought Rocky
You don't
was
have
real.
to keep bringing that up.
Did you also think Rocky? Did you think Clubber Lang was real too? Like
I
Mr.
don't
T?
even remember
and
that
the Russian
movie.
thing. Like he always been.
I don't even remember that movie. So see,
Which one? 3?
the first one. I didn't think of sequels were real.
Now I think Rocky is good. Is a really good
thought
movie.
maybe the
it's like a
first
good
one was
message.
real.
It's like Karate Kid. They say the Karate Kid's such a good message for
Right.
kids. Rocky, I think, is too, except all the bludgeoning of each other's faces.
Right.
That's probably not good. But it's like a poor. It's like a
Yeah.
a poor guy on the street that makes
Mm-hmm.
good, like makes something of himself, and
Right.
success story of an underdog kind of thing.
Exactly.
And that's it. That's all I got for August of 1969. So we only have like
Four more
months left.
yeah, 4
I don't
more
know if we're
months.
gonna, we can probably do a couple months at a time.
Yeah, that'd be a good
There's
idea.
only a couple more episodes left of the 60s, and we'll probably take a little bit of a break just because things are so rough right now
Yeah.
as far as keeping up with the world and the pandemics and all that, unless we both lose our jobs, and then
we have nothing else to do.
yeah. But anyway, thank you for listening. Sorry about the pandemic. Amy apologizes. It's her fault.
I'm the one that ate a bat.
She did eat a bat.
Stuck a bat in my hoo-ha.
Whoa, that is inappropriate, and I am offended.
Well,
I banged a bat.
there I see.
All right, what if I winked it to a Batman, an old Batman episode with
No.
Zank, Powie, Zop?
No, stop.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Get out of here, Chuck Berry.
Yep, get out of here,
A few
Chuck
more
Berry.
episodes, and then we're gonna, just to let you know, we're gonna probably retool things for the 50s. We're gonna change
We're not
some
going to be
things up.
so bogged down in minutia.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about everything anymore. The 60s were a big thing and a big
Big.
change. We're gonna go back to, and it'll be harder to find stuff in the 50s.
Oh my
probably,
God,
so.
yeah. We'll probably do a year episode.
Yeah, we'll just do legends and things, but I think we're gonna have some big cool changes. I think some good things.
Don't oversell it.
I'm replacing you.
What?
Well, I was thinking about replacing you with Ellen DeGeneres.
I thought she had a job already.
No, didn't hear. She's been canceled.
Is it?
Yeah, she's been canceled.
Is it really?
I don't think her show's been canceled yet, but she's been
Oh,
canceled.
I know people say she's
She's been sort of Me Too'd, except it's not a Me Too. It's like they should
She's
come up with a
just-
hashtag for the just
for
being,
somebody who's a bitch.
or just being mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my whole thing about it is she probably needs to be a bitch. I mean,
Right.
she's probably overcome a lot. So hasn't she earned the right to be a bitch?
Could be. Maybe she's just tough.
Maybe she is just a tough badass,
And people think she's a bitch because of
and they
it.
can't turn it into that. Yeah,
Right.
maybe people's feelings are hurt, or maybe she's really a terrible.
I mean,
person.
there's
Who
been
knows?
people that I've worked with before who, like, I'll hear, oh, she's a bitch. And then I get to know them and I end up really liking them.
Well, you like bitches. Oh, me too. I do agree with that. I do too.
Not
a lot of
always.
times. Yeah.
Not always. But there's been a few times when people will
I
say,
think
oh,
what-
God, she's tough. She's a bitch. And
I think I hear that most about like teachers and stuff. I remember
yeah, with teachers.
I remember always hearing that about a teacher. Like when it's seventh grade, it was like Mrs. Towns is so tough.
Yep.
She's mean and she's nasty. She's real pretty.
Yeah.
But she's real tough and real mean. But she was beautiful. And then when I got in her class, I was scared to death of her. But
Yeah.
I did good work and I tried, and she was real nice to me. Mm-hmm. I think she just doesn't take shit from people giving her
Right.
shit. And as probably like a pretty teacher, like she probably had to be.
Yeah.
Because people just thought, oh, you're pretty and dumb. But she was like a grammar Nazi. Like you couldn't say yeah or uh-huh. You always had to say yes, and she would correct you. But I kind of dug her. So
Yeah.
if it's that kind of thing, that's fine.
Right.
And I don't know. I feel like any marginalized group, not to say they all just get a free pass to do whatever they want, but they should get a free pass to do whatever they want for a while. Like just
Yeah.
to make I don't know, unless they're hurting other people of
Right.
marginalized groups, then I guess that's not good.
Right.
But so anyway, don't judge by a book by its cover. We don't know if it's Ellen's fault. Maybe she had some people working for her that were jerks. Maybe she
be.
was a jerk. Maybe she is a jerk, but it's okay for people can be jerks of all kinds of stripes.
Well, and I think sometimes
All kinds of people
if
are
she was a
jerks.
man, she probably wouldn't be labeled as a jerk.
That's
but
probably true.
because men can get away with
Being
much worse
assholes.
behavior,
Yeah.
because they just chalk it up to, oh, he's a
He's
he
a tough
runs
guy.
a tight
Yeah,
ship.
He runs a tight ship. He's a tough guy
Yeah, and
That's true.
But women, they say, oh, she's a bitch.
because she's supposed to be nice and welcoming and
Yeah, or
bosomy.
just weak.
I think with her, it's
indecisive.
I don't know why we're talking about Ellen, but
Women
except that she's
women
gonna be
are told they're indecisive.
well, but I do think the whole thing with her in particular is because her show, like she portrays herself as this awesome, like I like to dance and I have fun and I'm just fun and cool.
And then she turns around and screaming at
And
people,
it's like, hey, shut the fuck
throwing
up.
hangers at them and stuff.
But they have done now. People have done like montages of time for. We should have all known. Look how mean she was to this. Like I guess they fed an audience one time, like with like they gave everybody a prize or free food or something, and some audience member took extra, like took more than they were supposed to get, and then she like apparently on the show like played video of this person taking too much, like look at this girl in our audience, everybody could have one thing and she took 3. Look at her, shame her. It's kind of like that was really mean to do on TV, something like things to that effect. Like, and then they've done these montages of things she's done. But in that case, like if you're looking for anything from anybody, you can probably find a montage of whatever.
Yeah.
You can name any person.
There's that montage. There's that one montage of you when you were riding that unicycle down the street.
Yeah.
That you can find it. You can find anything.
Well, there are several times I've done that.
Though it was the one when you didn't have any pants on.
Yeah, when I was urinating all over the kids in the parade.
Yeah.
I was a little intoxicated.
Yep.
I didn't know they were kids. I thought they were clowns.
So I guess that
I urinated all over
it.
everything.
I know.
No, that's just a joke. I've never been in a unicycle. I can't ride a unicycle.
Too bad, because that would up your game in my book. That would up your.
I did urinate.
That would up the hot factor for me.
I urinated in the driveway last night.
What?
Just kidding.
I hope. No, come on.
Okay, I did. Well, it was dark. It was raining. I was on a Zoom call.
Don't do that.
I had.
You're gross enough as a neighbor.
I was in.
You're always out there without a shirt on, sweaty, wandering around the neighborhood.
Hey! I only.
People are gonna. You're gonna be start. They're gonna start.
I've only got 6 or 7 skin tags.
You're gonna have a nickname.
Shirtless
The
Joe?
neighbors are gonna give you a nickname.
That's fine.
Like we have given nicknames to others in the past.
I will have earned that nickname.
Yes, you will.
Pissy Joe.
Something's wrong with that guy.
Pissy weirdo. He was pissing in the driveway the other day, and he's got all those skin tags.
Gross.
Yeah, that is gross. Anyway, sorry for bugging everyone. We love you.
All right, everybody.
We want to be with you and sing songs with you. Go to birthday party.
We're so tired of hearing about the 60s. I said we're so tired of hearing about the 60s. When you were all along the watchtower, kids in the sky. Well, I was barely a glimmer in my young daddy's eye. I said that we're so tired of hearing about the 60s. One more time, I said we're so tired of hearing about the 60s. Well, make me shut my mouth now.
Ellen asked you Alice versus Chelsea in town. Now you're stealing coffee morning for the president's ball. Yeah.
We're so tired of hearing about the 60s.
All right, get out of here.
That's it. Get out of here.
Go
Get
the fuck out.
What are you waiting for? Turn the damn thing off.
Yeah.
Stop it. Go to the next one. Go listen to the other podcast you're gonna listen
Joe
to.
Rogan.
Go listen to Joe Rogan.
Don't.
Next. Listen to Conan O'Brien.
That one, he's got a murder one, doesn't he?
No, I don't know.
He loves murder. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Like he says he loves it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I disagree with him there, but his Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is fabulous. Anyway, get out of here. Why are you guys still listening?
I know.
This podcast is over.
I want to listen to. I need to listen.
You're
to that.
supposed to be listening to Throughline by NPR.
Yeah.
What do you think our listeners listen to? I think if you look us up, it's usually Joe Rogan. Like everybody that listens to us listens to Joe Rogan, I think.
No.
Or Dirty John. Go listen to the rest of Dirty John. You know you didn't finish it.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to the credits. Go listen to Serial.
There's one called Radio Rental that's really good. It's kind of spooky.
Yeah.
But it's Rainn Wilson.
Oh, the guy Dwight Schrute?
Yeah.
Huh.
He plays a character on it. Like the
So
one
it's
who
like
introduces the stories, the spooky stories. And they're all like supernatural. They're not murder. Stop.
I was just exhaling.
No, that was weird.
Anyway, get out of here. Thanks, everybody. Happy birthday, Grandma.
American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
Thank you. Love you.